It's showtime on TalkSport with BetMGM. We're ready for the action. Are you? Visit betmgm.co.uk or download the app. 18 plus. Gambleaware.org.
And at this stage in the proceedings, we're joined by Sean Martin from BetMGM. We're going to look at some of the top sporting events and the odds round and about them. Sean, I notice nothing to do with the Scottish Premiership on the running order here. So I'll ask you straight, your beloved Celtic. You didn't get a win at Tynecastle, you got a draw. What's going on?
Morning, lads. Yeah, the BetMGM boys have stitched me up a wee bit there. Look, I think Celtic needed to win. They didn't. Good start to that game against Hearts at the weekend, then it descended into a pretty low quality, albeit entertaining affair with 4 goals, a red card and all that. Perfection pretty much required here on out. I think, Jim, hope a couple of signings in the next few days as well, because so far I think it'd be fair to say Rangers and Hearts are the sides showing that they maybe want to win this title in terms of transfer business. Funnily enough though, lads, I mean, we were looking at the betting market for it this morning. It's almost the reverse of the league table. Hearts are top, but 2-1 third favourites. Rangers second in the table and second in the betting at 7-4. Having been what I remember telling you guys on Thursday, I thought was a far too big 5-2, given they're on a good run. And actually Celtic's still 6-4 favourites, even though they're third in the table, Jim. But yeah, likely a combination of the Martin O'Neill factor we've discussed, and also the perception that the club's been there, done it, and is experienced in winning. But not a lot else to justify it at the moment.
How many new additions do they need, do you think, Celtic? Sean, we might have news for you in the coming days on that, because we know Martin's having meetings on that very topic.
I mean, it is a bit late in the window. That's the thing. I think that's the principle of it. It should have been and could have been done earlier, is the thing. But they need a few. I mean, we signed a striker last week. He actually done quite well at Tynecastle, I thought. But as Martin O'Neill said at the time, one striker isn't the solution. They need a couple more than that. So
okay, we'll keep you informed. Keep you informed, Mr. Martin. Champions League tonight. Spurs, Chelsea, Newcastle amongst the teams in action. So where are you going with it?
Yeah, Matt Gibson took you through the top 8 odds yesterday. In terms of the matches themselves tonight, though, all 18 at 8 PM UK time. We think Liverpool and Arsenal should get the job done pretty easily. They're heavy odds on. Man City should as well in terms of winning the game against Galatasaray, but they need to do it in all likelihood by scoring a few goals as well for the top 8 picture. Really, the 3 big games tonight, you'd have to say, are Spurs away at Eintracht Frankfurt. Simon, you nailed your colours to the mast on that front last week, and again yesterday. Tottenham 3-4 favourites, albeit missing some big players again. Over in Italy, Antonio Conte looking to spoil Chelsea's top 8 charge. Napoli need a point to make the playoffs, and in all honesty, you can see a bit of value in both sides here. Napoli at home at 11-5 is very decent, but so is Chelsea over even money, or even the draw at 5-2. And yeah, touched on this last week. Newcastle away in Paris. Last time they went there, a very controversial 1-1 draw, thanks to a last gasp penalty. Robbed, some Newcastle fan colleagues of mine would and do say it's 7-1 for that scoreline tonight, but for Newcastle to just win the game, you're still getting 4-1. PSG only won one of their last 4 Champions League games, so that's more than a glimmer of hope there, in my opinion. That Newcastle game does the heavy lifting if you back all six English teams to win tonight. It's 22-1, or if you zone in on those main 3 games that we've just spoken about, lads, it's 17-1 for Spurs, Chelsea and Newcastle all to win.
What do you think about Newcastle's chances in Paris tonight, Danny?
Very, very slim.
Really? But this is not PSG of before.
They're getting most of the players back now. They're nearly all fit. And Newcastle's away form is poor. No, I can't see it. If they get a draw, they've done amazingly well.
You on the same page as Danny on that one, Simon?
Yeah, I think there's a challenge for them. I mean, ultimately, PSG may not have quite the same lustre as they had last year, but they're still a formidable side. And I don't see Newcastle being able to overcome that. The fascinating one for me is Chelsea, because we've got to see, we watched Liam Rosenior, and obviously he's landed relatively smoothly, but he's beaten who he should beat. They should beat Charlton in the FA Cup. They should beat Crystal Palace, and out of form Crystal Palace. You know, they should, on paper, beat Brentford, irrespective of how well Keith Andrews is doing. And they should beat Pathos. But Napoli and Arsenal, this is the level that you're at now, Liam.
Thing is, as well, Napoli have to win.
These are the boys that you play against. This is the measure that you're being judged against. So it'd be interesting to see how Rosenior goes up against Conte.
I fancy Chelsea tonight.
Do you?
I don't know why.
So do I. I've got a sneaking feeling for them. But I mean, anyone that beats that Slob Conti for me is someone I'll admire anyway.
Slob?
Yeah, I think he's an appalling. I think his behaviour is appalling.
Jim, I would assume you'd want Napoli to win.
McTominay.
McNapoli.
And well,
with McTominay and
and Gilmore.
Of course. Well, Billy's been out of the team through injury. I don't know if he's back, but Sean,
Scots,
definitely.
No Scots in the Chelsea team, mate.
Yeah, with the Scottish influence at Napoli. Forza Napoli, don't you think, Sean?
That'll be it. Scott McTominay, 17-2 first goal scorer tonight, by the way, just in case you fancy it.
Excellent. Guys. Now, of course, with Danny in our midst, we spoke with Thomas Bjorn earlier on, so we've got to talk golf. So, Sean, talk golf.
Yeah, we spoke about Dubai last week. It's San Diego for this one, Farmers Insurance Open at Torrey Pines, so a major setting. No Scottish Scheffler this week, so it actually makes for a pretty attractive market, really. A couple of your favourites teeing it up, Danny, including Xander Schauffele, who's the 12-1 favourite. Plenty of eyes on Brooks Koepka as well after his move back from Liv. I heard you mention that actually earlier on to Thomas Bjorn. He's 60-1. I was speaking to Charlie Robertson this morning. He was, as usual, not shy and giving me some unsolicited tips. He's big into Sam Stevens at 40s and Jason Day at 28-1. Both played well last week and have a bit of history here, but just wondering where your head's at with it, Danny. Who you looking at with no Scotty in the field?
Well, I was going to give you Jason Day because he's won there twice before and he's had a second and a third, and he came joint second last week playing tremendous golf. So that would be, what would he be? 20, 25, something like that?
28-1 to win it. And then you're talking 11-2 top 5, 10-3 top 10. So there's quite a bit of value there.
Maybe a big outsider would be Billy Horschel. He's had some good results there over the year, and he'll be what, 80s maybe.
Okay, Danny, thank you for that. In the world of boxing, Teofimo Lopez, Shakur Stevenson and Josh Kelly, which is easy to say, but not so easy, is Bakram Murtazaliev. But what are you thinking, Sean?
I might come back to you to rely on you to pronounce it for me. It was going to be 3 fights I wanted to mention here, but obviously Adam Azim, the one at the Copper Box, got called off.
Right.
So just the 2, but a very decent 2 to touch on nonetheless. First off, Josh Kelly going for the IBF light middleweight title in Newcastle against unbeaten, what was it, Bakram Murtazaliev? The big Russian.
Scroll through that. Well done, Sean. Well done.
The big Russian, not fought since October 2024. Never fought in the UK, but goes in 8-25 favourite. Kelly 13-5 on a 7-1 streak. Heard them on the show actually with you guys the other week. Always good to see a Mackham venture into Newcastle as well, of course. And then across the pond, the biggest fight of the weekend for me anyway, MSG. Teofimo Lopez against Shakur Stevenson, WBO light welterweight title. Stevenson unbeaten, moving up to go for a world title at a 4th weight. He looked bloody good against William Zepeda in July, I've got to say, and is actually 8-25 favourite as well for this, meaning Lopez is almost 2.5-1 to win. I suppose, to me anyway, it depends which Teofimo Lopez turns up really, but Simon, I know you hate doing this, I know you hate it, but nonetheless, I'm curious. Those 2 fights, how do you see them both ending?
We're all curious, Sean. Simon?
I fancy Teofimo Lopez. I think if he puts on a performance in the way, I think losing to George Kambosos Jr. was actually the making of him, because I think he came back and people felt that was the end of him, and he's come back and he beat Josh Taylor. He totally diminished Arnold Barbosa Jr.
Yeah.
So I think if he can drag Shakur Stevenson into a fight, which is what he's trying to do. If you look at all the presses, you look at all the face-offs, he's trying to drag him into a fight, trying to taunt him and goad him because he wants him to stand in front of him. And if he can do that, I think Teofimo Lopez can win. Conventional wisdom, if you listen to Paulie Malignaggi, if you listen to Johnny Nelson, and most of them, Spencer, they all think it's all day Shakur Stevenson. Myself and Duke McKenzie have gone down the route of Teofimo Lopez. And Josh Kelly, listen, I think Josh has got a great chance. He fancies this fight. He really does. He's not worried about how hard this guy hits. I think he's natural at 154 now. He hasn't got the problem he's had in the previous incarnation making the weight. He carries his power well there, and Josh really fancies this. He fancies so much, he's playing paddle last week with me on the tennis court a week before fight. So I fancy Josh for this, and I really hope he does well and emulates to some extent what or equals what Dalton Smith has done, which is beat somebody that other people think he can't.
Seeing as though we all want Josh to win, then why didn't you just back the other guy? Because we know then he'd win.
Oh, I do back people. I backed Dalton Smith to beat Sabriel Mateus.
Oh, fair enough.
And he won.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Lopez win, Kelly win, 11-1, Simon, and I'll have a bit of that. I really hope that is what happens.
That'd be good. Josh Kelly, be great if he can come through, as you rightly say. Sean, thank you very much indeed. Visit betmgm.co.uk or download the app. 18+, begambleaware.org.